Before that footage was made public, Russia denied hitting the unarmed drone, calling its very presence a provocation and accusing the U.S. of increasing its spy operation. Now that defense officials have released the video, the White House continues to call Russia's bluff. Newly released video overnight shows recently declassified footage of a Russian fighter jet colliding with the U.S. drone over the Black Sea this week. The footage released Thursday by the Defense Department supports the account by U.S. officials that 2 Russian jets made a total of 19 passes on the unarmed drone, drenching it with their jet fuel. On the final pass, the Russian pilot appeared to miss his approach, causing a collision. American controllers deliberately crashed the damaged drone into the sea, but insisted it had every right to be in the sky.
Make no mistake, the United States will continue to fly and to operate wherever international law allows.
This was an intentional Russian attack on the drone.
Former acting director of the CIA, Michael Morrell, says Russia likely raced to recover the debris.
They would like to take a look at it to simply see if there's anything that they can learn from it about U.S. capabilities.
U.S. officials say the Russians arrived to the scene first, about 60 miles southwest of the Crimean Peninsula. But recovering debris won't be easy.
It's probably about maybe 4,000 or 5,000 feet of water, something like that. So any recovery operation is very difficult at that depth.
Officials say that the Russians will probably find some pieces of the drone, like metal chunks, but the U.S. military wiped its software to remove sensitive intelligence.
We are quite confident that whatever was of value is no longer of value.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin spoke with his Russian counterpart for the first time in 5 months Wednesday, a signal that both sides are taking this collision seriously.
It's important that great powers be models of transparency and communication.
Much of this conflict is about control and airspace over the Black Sea. Now, Russia's push to dominate the region creates instability for 3 NATO allies that share a shoreline critical to trade across Europe, which is, of course, already vulnerable as the war rages on.
For more on the war in Ukraine, I want to bring in CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio. Ramy, you're in Odesa, a very valuable city, a very valuable port city, where a lot of activity is happening. But I want to talk to you about Bakhmut. This has been a bitter, bitter battle over what is essentially a pretty small city, both sides losing a lot, but still in the fight. What can you tell us about what's going on there?
Sure, Anne-Marie, good to see you. The Battle of Bakhmut now 7 months in, the longest battle in this long-running war, now more than a year old. People have also been saying that it is the longest infantry battle ever since World War II. Meat grinder, slaughterhouse has been what it's called. And now, according to our international partners at the BBC, they're saying that there is a change in tactic, at least from the Russian side. They're saying that while before conscripts into the Wagner mercenary group were thrown at Ukrainian defenses, now they're sending them in smaller forces. Those are being shot at, and then Ukrainian forces then get targeted because Russian forces then see where those positions are. That's one adaptation. Another adaptation is what's happening with Russian drones now being able to target better with their grenades Ukrainian military positions. But there is some maybe relative good news or a silver lining to this in terms of what's happening with the culmination of Russian forces trying to attack Ukrainian positions. The Institute for the Study of War says that they're currently seeing that now. That echoes the recent reports out of the Ukraine military that says that they haven't seen much of any change over the past few days. They are saying that this is because of losses in ammunition, troops that we've been talking about going back and forth against each other across the river that splits the city. And looking ahead, they're saying that this isn't just something that's happening in Bakhmut, it's happening across the front lines. They're saying that over the past few weeks, the number of attacks have decreased on the order of about 90 to 100 to something on the order of about 20 to 29 a day.
You know, Ramy, there was a feeling that perhaps a part of the reason why Ukraine was keeping up the fight for Bakhmut is because they were forcing Russia to use a lot of ammunition, to use a lot of men, and it was draining Russia. You know, the Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin recently said that Bakhmut isn't really more of has symbolic value more than operational value. It was an interesting phrase. Is this a sign that perhaps Ukraine's focus is shifting elsewhere now?
Well, you know, the drain for sure is happening on both sides for Russia as well as Ukraine. But there is symbolism that is also very supportive, that can push people to continue to defend Bakhmut. That is what President Volodymyr Zelensky has been saying. He's been saying that that it is crucial to hold Bakhmut. There had been at one point the idea that they would withdraw to defend another village, another town, and let Russian forces take control. But then Ukrainian military said, listen, if we pull back from Bakhmut, we're going to have to defend someplace else, so we might as well just stay here. So it is important to hold the city, according to Ukraine, because it is also seen as a linchpin for Russia to continue its takeover of the east part of the region and to continue on to even bigger cities further west.
Interesting. Ramy Inocencio, thank you so much, Ramy.